For decades, supercars have been defined by one thing: engines. The roar of a Ferrari 512, the scream of a Lamborghini 510, the thunder of a McLaren twin-turbo 5.8. These sounds weren't just noise. They were identity, heritage, and raw emotion. But in 2026, the definition of a supercar is being rewritten. The rise of electric hypercars, silent, instant, and unbelievably fast, is challenging everything we thought we knew about performance. The question on every enthusiast's mind is simple. Can EV hypercars really beat tradition? Or will they always feel like machines without a soul? Let's start with performance because numbers don't lie. Electric hypercars are destroying records once thought untouchable. The Rimac Nevera, for example, hit 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds and has already broken multiple world acceleration records. The Lotus Evija produces nearly 2,000 horsepower, all delivered instantly through electric motors. Even Tesla, with its upcoming Roadster, claims performance figures that rival or surpass Bugatti and Koenigsegg. In terms of raw acceleration, EVs are rewriting the rulebook. Traditional supercars can't match that instant torque. Gas engines build power over time, climbing through gears and revs. EVs deliver everything at once. That's why even family-friendly electric SUVs are now beating yesterday's Ferraris in a drag race. For performance purists, this is thrilling, but also unsettling. If speed alone defines a supercar, then EVs have already won. But here's where the debate gets complicated. Supercars have never been just about numbers. They're about the experience. The sound of a naturally aspirated engine echoing through a tunnel, the vibration of pistons firing beneath your seat, the smell of fuel and exhaust. These sensory details create an emotional connection. EVs, no matter how fast, are silent. They deliver neck-snapping acceleration, but without the theater of combustion. For many enthusiasts, that silence feels sterile. It's performance without passion. Automakers are aware of this tension, and they're experimenting with ways to bridge the gap. Some brands are adding artificial soundtracks, digital recreations of engine roars played through speakers. Others are focusing on design and aerodynamics to create drama through visuals and handling. Porsche, for example, has emphasized the Taycan's connection to its racing heritage, focusing on steering feel and track dynamics. The challenge is clear. How do you make an EV hypercar feel emotional when its defining characteristic is silence? Now let's talk about range and practicality. Traditional supercars were never practical, but they offered long-distance travel as long as you could find gas. EV hypercars with massive batteries face different limits. The Rimac Nevera claims around 300 miles of range in normal driving, but push it hard on a track and that number plummets. Charging infrastructure is improving, but it still can't match the convenience of a 5-minute fuel stop. For now, EV hypercars work best as weekend toys, not cross-country grand tours. But as charging networks expand and batteries improve, this gap is closing fast. There's also the question of innovation. Supercars have always been about pushing boundaries, and in many ways, EV hypercars are doing exactly that. They're exploring new battery chemistries, advanced cooling systems, and lightweight materials to handle the demands of electric performance. Rimac, for example, has become a leader not just in making cars, but in supplying technology to other brands, including Porsche and Bugatti. In this sense, EV hypercars are fulfilling the traditional role of supercars, acting as test beds for the future of automotive technology. Heritage, however, is harder to replicate. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Aston Martin. These names carry decades of racing glory and cultural status. Owning one is about being part of that history. EV startups like Rimac or Lotus don't have the same legacy, though they're building reputations quickly. The real test will be how established brands transition. Ferrari has announced it will release its first all-electric supercar this decade. Lamborghini is working on hybrids and EVs as well. If these icons can capture their heritage in electric form, the debate may shift dramatically. Another important angle is sustainability. Supercars have long been criticized as indulgent, gas-guzzling toys for the wealthy. EV hypercars flip that narrative. They still cost millions, but they come with zero tailpipe emissions. For image-conscious buyers, that's appealing. Driving an electric hypercar says you care about the future while still enjoying ultimate performance. Whether that's genuine or just marketing spin is up for debate, but it's reshaping how the supercar is perceived. So what do buyers want in 2026? The answer depends on identity. For purists, the visceral connection of a gas supercar is irreplaceable. A Ferrari V12 isn't just fast, it's alive. And no EV can replicate that. But for tech-driven buyers, silence and instant power feel like the future. Younger enthusiasts raised on smartphones and Teslas don't see the lack of sound as a loss. They see it as evolution. To them, the old roar of combustion is nostalgic but not essential. And let's not forget economics. EV hypercars are incredibly expensive to develop, but they also offer new opportunities. Without complex transmissions and engines, manufacturers can experiment more with design and aerodynamics. Maintenance is simpler, and the driving experience can be tailored through software updates. Imagine buying a car that gets faster or sharper with every firmware upgrade. That's something gas supercars could never deliver. Here's the bottom line. EV hypercars are redefining performance, but whether they can truly replace traditional supercars depends on how we define passion. If luxury and performance are just about speed, EVs have already won. They're faster, more efficient, and more technologically advanced. But if supercars are about soul, about sound, emotion, and heritage, then combustion still holds the crown, at least for now. In reality, the future will probably be a mix. Gas supercars will hold on for a few more years, catering to purists and collectors. But EV hypercars will dominate innovation, setting the stage for what comes next. In the end, it won't be about whether EVs can beat tradition. It will be about how tradition evolves to survive in an electric age.